Hello, everyone, and welcome to Chapter 17, Section 3, Part 2. All right, what we'll do is we're going to go through the war in the Pacific, and we'll talk about us going through our island hopping campaign in the Pacific, making our way very close to Japan, Iwo Jima, Okinawa, and then dropping the atomic bomb on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. So we'll just get going. I want to get through this so we're able to do other things tomorrow in class instead of go through this. All right. Americans were going to have a two-prong attack to defeat Japan. Admiral Chester Nimitz, who we talked about yesterday or today, I guess, if you're watching the video tonight, was going to do island hopping in the Pacific, working his way toward Japan, when General Douglas MacArthur would work his way through the Solomon Islands, capture the coast of New Guinea, and make his way up through the Philippines. And then what they'll do is they'll assess and see what we're going to do about Japan once we get there. We'll start with island hopping in the Pacific. In the attack on Tarawa, 1,000 Marines died due to 20 ships running aground on the coral reefs. For every 3 Marines that got off the boats, 1 in 3 made it to the beach because they had to basically tread in shoulder-high water all the way up facing Japanese machine gun fire. So eventually the Amtrak, which was used in the Florida Everglades at the time, was introduced, and now we can get over those coral reefs when we go and attack the different islands in the Pacific. In Kwajalein Atoll went a little bit more smoothly. The U.S. had much fewer casualties. Again, these are different islands in the Pacific, and I'll show you on the map kind of what that looks like. What that's going to look like is this. This is how we'll do our island hopping, basically making our way through here. Hopefully the yellow circle is on here, making our way through here, and again, making our way up toward Japan this way. Again, island hopping, going through here, up all the way through here. Those little islands that I just talked about aren't on this map, but again, this is the route that it's going to take right here. Okay, so going back, now the United States was going to move to the Mariana Islands, Saipan, Tinian, and Guam. Guam, I believe, is on the map. Okay, as I said, they're going to work their way this way, all the way up to Guam, and then you'll see us take Iwo Jima and Okinawa eventually. The United States wanted to make an air base for the B-29 Super Fortress. Where did they want to do this? Right around Guam, in order to fly the B-29 from the base, bomb Tokyo or bomb Japan, and make its way back. You needed to get a little bit closer in order to do that. Saipan, Tinian, and Guam were all captured by August 1944, and the United States started bombing Japan months later. So basically, because of Chester Nimitz and the island hopping campaign, we're able to get much, much closer to Japan and then begin to bomb them from Air Force bases, which we have set up from those islands. All right, moving on. MacArthur returns. So if you remember, MacArthur left when we were trapped on the Bataan Peninsula, and he left and went to Australia. He does return, and he first invaded Guadalcanal and the Solomon Islands. In the Solomon Islands, let's just go back. We are right here, okay? Solomon Islands. MacArthur, after he goes to the Solomon Islands, after the Japanese withdraw their aircrafts and ships from their main base in the Solomon Islands, he goes to Hollandia, the northern coast of New Guinea. All right, again, New Guinea, right through here, okay? This has the second largest Japanese base, and in the process he also sees the island of Morotai, and now he's going to make his way to the Philippines. 700 ships carrying 160,000 troops sailed for the Leyte Gulf. October 20th, 1944, the battle in the Leyte Gulf begins. Japan sends 4 aircraft carriers to the Philippines from the north and the west. All right, they're going to have a two-prong attack. The Battle of the Leyte Gulf is the largest naval battle in history, and this is also the first time that the Japanese were able to use kamikaze pilots. Again, I'm going to show you video of this tomorrow. Let me go over this. What is the goal? The role of the kamikaze pilot? Obviously, deliberately crash your plane into battleships. The purpose of this, obviously, the plane is used as just basically a giant explosive. However, when the American situation was becoming desperate in the Battle of the Leyte Gulf, the Japanese thought that we were going to send in reinforcements, even though we had none coming. But the Japanese, thinking we were going to, literally retreated, and we were actually victorious. And now we're able to get our troops onto land and begin to invade the Philippines and try to take it back for the United States. 80,000 Japanese were dead. Less than 1,000 of them surrendered. In Manila, unfortunately, 100,000 Filipinos ended up dying. All right, so go ahead, if you can, at least know the answers to these questions. Why was the Battle of the Leyte Gulf? Leyte spelled incorrectly on the bottom there. So crucial to the Allies. All right, moving on. Battle of Iwo Jima, and then firebombing Japan. The B-29 bombers, in order for them to have a closer place to refuel, we wanted to take over, as you can see, the circle should be right around it here, Iwo Jima. All right, obviously very close to Tokyo. We began, in order to start bombing Tokyo, we needed to take over Iwo Jima. The island was perfectly located halfway between Japan and the Mariana Islands. On February 19th, 1945, 60,000 Marines landed on Iwo Jima. This is at the point when the Navajo Code Talkers were introduced to World War II. We were able to get in. However, we were pounded by Japanese artillery, and also the Japanese had a network of concrete bunkers which connected by tunnels inside of a dormant volcano. Basically, they had strategy on us. However, we were eventually able to take over the island. 6,800 Marines were killed in capturing the island, unfortunately. However, firebombing Japan. The U.S. started using napalm. Now we're close enough where we can start leading air attacks on Japan. We started to use napalm, which is a jelly type of gasoline, in our bombs to create a fire from the explosion. So even if you missed your target, chances are you were going to take it out because the fire would spread so quickly. The problem with the fire spreading so quickly, it was such a controversial weapon because if the fire, you can't control essentially how the fire spreads. So a lot of times it would go into villages and places like that, killing innocent civilians. Here's the issue. Napalm killed 80,000 people and destroyed 250,000 buildings in Tokyo, May 9th, 1945. Yes, we're saving American lives by bombing. However, you're killing innocent civilians. So again, very controversial weapon here. So go ahead and answer that last question there. Why was taking over Iwo Jima so important for the United States? Picture of the use of napalm. I think this is actually a picture from the Vietnam War. United States troops landing in Iwo Jima there. Obviously a famous photo. Invasion of Okinawa. Here we go. Now we're going to get even closer. As you can see on the map here, here's Okinawa. We're right here, and I'm going to explain to you why we want to get this close. Despite a huge damage the firebombing caused by the spring of '45, Japan showed no signs of surrendering, so we needed, or we thought we needed, to invade their mainland. Island of Okinawa became the next large target because it was so close. I believe 300 miles and change in order to get to the Japanese shoreline. It would be a base where the United States could stockpile all of our weapons and lead an invasion from there. On April 1st, 1945, United States Marines attacked the island and captured it June 22nd, 1945. Very difficult for us to take it over because the Japanese took their defense positions in some very rugged mountains. They had a vantage point on us. They had a huge advantage fighting from up above us. However, eventually it took us quite a bit of time, but we were able to capture the island June 22nd, like I said, 1945, making our way, fighting uphill basically the entire way. 12,000 Marines died capturing Okinawa. So go ahead if you need to, or make sure, excuse me, that you can answer that question on the bottom. Americans wanted unconditional surrender from the Japanese. However, the Japanese didn't want an unconditional surrender. They wanted their Emperor Hirohito, again, who they viewed as a god, to stay in power. President Truman did not want to go against public opinion, and the public wanted an unconditional surrender. So basically, the public viewed Hirohito as the start of the war, so Truman had no choice. He wanted a complete unconditional surrender, just as the public wanted. So what do we begin to do? The Office of Scientific Research and Development, created by Franklin Delano Roosevelt during the war, was implemented, and the reason it was implemented were for reasons like this. 1932, Jewish physicists learned that German scientists had split the atom. They convinced Albert Einstein to send a letter to the United States stating that the Germans had begun to work on the atomic bomb. Roosevelt orders a team, the Office of Scientific Research and Development, the OSRD. They began to build an atomic bomb in the United States, headed by General Leslie R. Groves. 1942, Slislard and Enrico Fermi build the world's first nuclear reactor at the University of Chicago. And July 16th, 1945, the first atomic bomb is detonated in Los Alamos, New Mexico, where the bomb was being built. Again, I'm going to show you video on all of this. How are we going to use the bomb? The rebuilding begins. Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Secretary of State James Burns wanted to drop the atomic bomb. Again, it was very controversial. Why? Because if you drop the atomic bomb, you kill innocent civilians. But if you don't drop the atomic bomb, we have to do a land invasion of Japan. And now you may risk the lives of up to hundreds of thousands of American troops. So it's kind of a dicey situation. Truman was willing to do anything, however, to save American lives in the Pacific. So on August 6, 1945, the U.S. dropped the first atomic bomb on Hiroshima called Little Boy. The bomb destroyed 60% of the city, killing 80 to 120,000 people. A lot of people died after the bomb due to radiation. August 9th, we dropped our second atomic bomb called Fat Man on Nagasaki, killing 35 to 70,000 people there. August 15th, 1945, the Japanese unconditionally surrendered to the United States. VJ, Victory in Japan Day. The Japanese surrendered and World War II was officially over. What to do after World War II? We'll go over the Yalta Conference and the Nuremberg trials tomorrow, but you can just get a good look here. What we'll be talking about is pretty straightforward stuff. So again, that ends the slideshow. So thanks for watching intently. I know there's a lot of information. I went through it pretty quick, but I just want you to have a general understanding before you come in tomorrow. Guys, thanks for watching. Appreciate it. Have a great day.